watch this video only after you've seen the episode, or, well, if you don't mind being spoiled. But I'd say let's dive right in. I hope you all have a great time watching, and now, let's go. The episode begins with Paris being attacked by a candy monster, and we've got Vesperia and Ladybug who, are fighting the monster. Ladybug saves Aglay, who falls out of a tram, and she freaks out well, not freaks out completely. But she's absolutely terrified of Ladybug touching her, which I find a bit strange because it feels like she specifically has a problem with Ladybug touching her, not just people in general. But maybe we'll find out more about that in another episode. Anyway, that's basically the pre-intro scene. Then we get the intro. And after that, we're at the school garden. And Aglay has a panic attack because she's scared of ladybugs. Maybe that's connected to ladybugs somehow. Since she was once akumatized, we see that later. So maybe she now associates Ladybug with akumatizations. That would make sense, which would also explain her panic when Ladybug touched her earlier. But who knows? Then at lunch, she's scared of a fly or something and runs away in panic again. And her friends talk to her and say that maybe she should see a psychologist because, they can help with that kind of thing. Max says that he personally goes to a psychologist because he's on the autism spectrum to deal with his fears and, I guess, the problems he experiences because of his autism. And Aglay says she's not on the spectrum, but then Malene mentions that she went to the same psychologist to deal with her phobias, and that Aglay has phobias too, and even Juleka went there to work on her speech issues. So they all go together with Aglay to see the psychologist, and she explains that while Hawkmoth was terrorizing Paris, she hid away and isolated herself because she was terrified of Akumas and everything connected to them. She says that after Hawkmoth was defeated, she finally dared to go outside again because she thought there was no new butterfly Miraculous holder anymore. But then, during a school trip to the butterfly house, she got locked inside by those bully boys, and that's when an Ultra Akuma appeared, which to me makes the connection between those boys and Chrysalis even stronger. And she got akumatized into this butterfly supervillain, and she honestly looks so cool in that design. But I don't think we'll ever see her in an actual episode, since this kind of felt like a summary of her story. The psychologist then asks her why she was so afraid of being akumatized, even before it ever happened. And Aglay explains that back when Timebreaker, that is, Alex, was akumatized in Season 1, she got caught up in it, started to slowly disappear, lost all sense of time, and had no idea how much time was passing as she faded away. She was terrified that she'd never see her family or friends again, and that she'd never get to do all the things she wanted to do. She says that she used to love butterflies, but after Alex's akumatization, she developed a deep fear of them, and of being akumatized herself. Meanwhile, Adrien starts thinking that maybe he should see a psychologist too, to talk about his father and all the issues connected to him. Marinette tells him that she can help him with that, and that he can always talk to her about anything. But Alia explains to both Marinette and Adrien that while Marinette can help him, it's still good to talk to a professional outsider, someone like the psychologist. She explains it with this gaming metaphor. Adrien is the player who has to move through a maze, avoiding all the obstacles. Marinette can fight off some of the obstacles from outside, but the psychologist can help him find the way out of the maze. I thought that was a really good example. And that's how Marinette realizes that it might actually be a good idea for Adrien to go to therapy. Aglay, on the other hand, starts getting frustrated because the psychologist can't offer her a miracle cure. It's a long process, but Aglay expected that after one session, she'd already feel less afraid. When that doesn't happen, she gets angry and breaks the toy car that the psychologist gave her as part of the session. She storms out, leaving the psychologist sad and disappointed. And then the psychologist herself gets akumatized. She tries to resist, but Chrysalis is good at manipulating people, especially a psychologist, and so she becomes Wreckless Driver. Wreckless Driver races through the city, capturing people and freeing them from their fears, including Aglay, who suddenly has no fear of anything anymore. She runs around doing whatever she wants, totally fearless and reckless. Ladybug calls Cat Noir, Purple Tigress, Polymoose, Pegasus, and Rena Rouge, and together they try to stop Wreckless Driver. Ladybug summons her lucky charm and gets a sandwich. Then Rena Rouge traps Wreckless Driver in a labyrinth of illusions, and at the end of that maze, there's a portal from Pegasus that catapults her underwater. Cat Noir dives in with his water power to destroy the car since they think the Akuma is inside it. But instead, he gets caught, and Wreckless Driver tries to free him from his fear by making him reveal his secret identity. Ladybug, however, jumps through a Pegasus portal into the car, stuffs Cat Noir's mouth so he can't say his identity. And then countless duplicates of Polymouse appear to distract Wreckless Driver. Then Purple Tigress delivers a powerful punch, smashing away the water and destroying the car. Ladybug finds the little toy car that contains the Akuma, breaks it open, purifies the butterfly, and throws her lucky charm. Everything goes back to normal again. And I just want to take a moment to say how incredibly cool Purple Tigress's design is. She looks absolutely amazing, and I'm already so excited for her upcoming episode. Hopefully, we'll finally get to see her transformation, because I am seriously obsessed with that look. So yeah, all's well that ends well. Aglay gets support from her friends, and dares to go into the greenhouse with the butterflies, but only for a short time. And I actually think that's great, because they didn't show it as if she could suddenly overcome her fear completely. Instead, she made progress, but it's still a long journey until she's no longer afraid at all. We also get another scene with Sice, who says she will find out Ladybug's identity, but in a different way than Ladybug expects. So yeah, mysterious as always. I'm super curious what she means by that, and I just really want to know more about Sice. I think these short little teaser scenes are so cool, but I can't wait until we finally get a full episode about her, to really see how she puts her plan into action. All those notebooks and all her schemes, I just find that whole mystery so fascinating. And I want to know who's working for her and everything. Anyway, the episode ends with the end screen, which I actually find really cool. I think it looks great. I'm still super disappointed about the end screen from El Toro de Piedra. I still don't understand why they made that the end screen. It was terrible. But yeah, this one is definitely really, really cool. And then, of course, there's one more scene after the end screen. We see Adrien and Marinette at the psychologist's office. Well, in the waiting room, to be exact. Adrien goes in, and when the psychologist asks what his problem is, he simply says that something feels strange about his father. And yeah, we already knew he felt that way, but I think it's cool that this is now being explored more directly, that Adrien is really starting to feel unsure about his father, and suspects that something isn't right. And with that, the episode truly ends. Honestly, I was a little surprised, because this episode felt more like a filler. I mean, we know that in Season 6 every episode has a purpose, and there are no fillers, but this one still kind of felt like one. I definitely think the main purpose of this episode was to give us more insight into Aglay's character, because she's a really unique one. We've now learned that she's been around the whole time, hiding from the Akumas while Hawkmoth was active, and that she was already Akumatized once. We also learned that she was bullied by those boys for some reason, and we now know that Aglay shares a lot of similarities with Chrysalis. For example, she has the same voice actress as Lila, in both the English and Portuguese versions. So yeah, there are a lot of similarities, which is why I still kind of feel like Lila is Aglay, or at least that Aglay might be working for her. But I could also imagine that Sice took advantage of Aglay's fears to turn her into an ally, and that through her boys, the bullies, who might also be working for her, she somehow connected Aglay and Chrysalis through that akumatization. I don't know, but I could really see that being the case. That's probably how that connection came about. Other than that, I really liked that the episode talked more openly about psychology, about going to therapy, because that's so important, and more people should do it. So yeah, I think it's a really great topic to include. Honestly, I think this season does an amazing job of weaving real and meaningful issues into the show, like, for example, autism, which has now been officially confirmed. We always kind of assumed Max was autistic. A lot of people already thought so, but now it's official, and I think that's really, really cool. So, yeah, Wreckless Driver wasn't the most spectacular villain, but she was still cool, and I actually found the episode really entertaining. Like I said, it felt more like a filler episode to me, but I'm still super curious to learn more about Aglay, what her real purpose in the series is, and what her full story will turn out to be. I'm really excited to find out. Be sure to tell me in the comments what you thought of this episode. Did you like it? What did you not like as much? What parts did you enjoy the most? How do you feel about Aglay and her story now, with all the akumatization stuff and the Timebreaker connection? I personally thought it was really cool to finally see the long-term effects that akumatized villains can have on the people involved. Because we always say that Hawkmoth terrorized Paris, but honestly, he never really caused lasting damage. Everything was always repaired in the end, except maybe in the New York special. Still, it makes total sense that people like Aglay could be traumatized by those events, so mind, and I think it's great that the show actually acknowledged that this time. So, yeah, like I said, tell me your thoughts about the episode down below. I'm super curious to hear what you all thought. Then make sure to follow me and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my videos, because in just 2 days, the Dark Castle episode releases, and of course my review right after that. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, and as I said, comment your thoughts about the review, the episode, anything that comes to mind. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.